But your thing is going really great. My son's a big fan of yours, Baron.
Really, Baron is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
He just graduated high school, right?
That's right. He just did. He knows you very well. He said, Dad, he's big.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's with Trump and like constantly relying on his sons for media appearances?
Big one.
That's cool.
So that's good.
What,
Well, that's where it is nowadays, right?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You know, yeah, I can't believe that we're able to get platforms. And I started in my kitchen, and then, yeah, just evolved out of there.
That's fantastic.
I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. What does Baron play?
Do you want to start? You go ahead.
Yeah, we're good. Are we rolling?
Yeah, sure.
We're good. Yeah, that's yeah. Does Baron play sports or anything?
He does. He plays golf and different sports.
Ew, bro. Let him play ball. He's like 6'8", dog. He's 6'8" and Slovenian. What the fuck is wrong with you? He's going to turn into Osama bin Laden, bro. This is what happens when you're 6'8" and your fucking dad doesn't let you play ball. You literally become Osama bin Laden. Let him fucking hoop, dog. He's going to do 9/11 if you don't let him hoop.
Soccer. Loves soccer. Very good at soccer. He's a good athlete, Baron.
Yeah. Is he going to go? Has he already picked a college or no?
He has, and he's getting set to go in the fall. Good college, a very good one. And he was always a very good student. He's smart guy.
Which one of your kids, what's something you admire about each one of your sons?
No.
Well,
Hard
Don is
question.
a hunter. He's a great, great hunter and knows everything about that world and guns and all. He was the first one that said, Dad, boy, you got lucky, because I didn't realize that 130 yards is actually very close in that parlance. And he said, you got lucky. He knew immediately when he saw that. He said, it's incredible, because that's considered.
I love Theovon. I love Theovon baking this in, like in the post, in the edits. Like his editor's like, this is this is good stuff to put in there.
Pretty close distance.
From how far the shooter was?
Yeah.
Oh,
And the guy wasn't a bad shooter, supposedly. You know, he was a very disturbed guy, but he wasn't a bad shooter. And Eric, likewise, he loves the business. He loves real estate. Also very much of a hunter. And
Bro, he can't find anything. Like there is not an ounce of like genuine good feelings that he has for either of his fucking dipshit fail sons.
understands a lot of things about that. They were sort of, as young guys, they were with their grandfather, and he would take them hunting in Czechoslovakia. And somehow they developed very well. And
Czechoslovakia,
yeah,
damn.
can you imagine?
It's a lot of letters even.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a name you don't hear too much anymore, but it was...
I'd need a scope just to get through the spell.
That's a name you don't hear too much anymore. That's hilarious.
Word,
That's
I
right.
think,
A lot
you
of
know.
people. A lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
But so he'd go, they'd spend time in Europe and they'd do that. That's where he learned a lot about both of them, really good.
With your dad, they would go?
No, grandfather, actually. They had a grandfather who was a wonderful outdoorsman and athlete. And during the summer, he'd take them out into the woods and they'd go hunting and lots of things, and they loved it. They got to love it. And that's Don and that's Eric.
Yeah, they're funny.
Oh, yeah.
They have a good sense of humor, too. Like, whenever I see them at UFC, it's like...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just, like... The first time I was nervous, I think, and then after that, when I've seen them, it's like, it's fun to kind of cut up with them a little bit.
Yeah, well, they're good. They're good guys, and they really they get along great with the rest of the family. We all get along great. We have a good family, but I love you. I see. You talk about a great guy. How about Dana White?
Yeah.
The job he does, right?
Yeah, I want to thank Dana too for helping get us set up together. Yeah, he makes it happen. I like Dana. He doesn't waste words. He doesn't waste time. He likes to, I think, be efficient, and he has seems like a strong sense of integrity for himself.
Yeah, nobody like him, actually. It's, there's an expression that everybody is replaceable. Not Dana.
Yeah.
Nobody could do what he does, and he's made that sport into a big monster
Yeah, dude, no one. Like, absolutely zero people beat the shit out of their wives in the same way.
sport.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and we go there and we enjoy it, go with him. Sometimes we do walk-ons with Dana, and place sort of likes it.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, but
there's
Dana,
a video of
we
us.
have-
I was behind you in one video. I'm sure the dogs here will pull it up. But yeah, those are some of my favorite. Those are some of my favorite things ever. UFC became my favorite sport during the pandemic because Dana was brave enough to stay open. You know,
he was the whole ball game. He was the only sport, and he'd open up in arenas with nothing other than very good fighters.
Yeah,
and they would be fighting. He had some of the best fights during the pandemic.
Yeah,
but he
was exceptional. There it is, right there. See, look, there you are, and I'm right behind you there, clapping with that hat on. The white guy in the hat.
That's great. That's right. The white guy in the hat is right. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of us there, but I was one of them for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, see, that's me right there.
Good sport, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, I'm a Dustin Poirier fan. So.
He's great. He was, boy, I tell you, he's a warrior. That last fight he had, whether you like it or not, he is a warrior.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that, I think Trump's strategy of going to like right wing, or not even right wing necessarily, but like Trump's strategy as a telegenic person that is like capable of holding a conversation with people who are not immediately at odds with him actually does end up humanizing him a lot to people who are prone to his kind of politics, I think.
Over there. Yeah, what was the first, do you remember like the first fight that you ever went to, whether it was UFC or boxing or anything?
Yeah, I do. It was Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali in Madison Square Garden many, many years ago. And I think that was the first fight I went to. I always liked the boxing.
How old were you, remember?
Oh, boy, I don't know. You can deduct it from what I am now, but it was a long time ago. But they were two undefeated fighters. They were both undefeated. Muhammad became a friend of mine. So did Joe, Jolton Joe. They were two great fighters. That fight was incredible. I think they had like many heart attacks that night, literally heart attacks in Madison Square Garden. I think it was Madison Square Garden.
What is Theo politically? Just everything. Just the median voter, the perfect median voter.
And the fight was so unbelievable. Two undefeated heavyweight champions of the world. There was no UFC and there was no competition, really. It was it.
Yeah.
And
Trump played golf with a golfing YouTuber, for example. He's in it for the content. Yeah, and it got 11 million views. Like he's kind of cooking on his social media strategy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, but it's not something that Kamala Harris, I don't think, can genuinely recreate anyway. Even Dr. Phil, 16 mil, dude. Yeah, a Trump interview is like literally immediate lock that you're gonna get like 10 million plus views. I mean, look at this one. This one got 10 million in fucking 4 days.
So you had two guys. Remember that Muhammad wasn't allowed to fight because of lots of different things, and he was terrific.
Do you think this will reflect? How do you think this will reflect an actual vote? So many 16-year-olds watching Theo can't vote. Maybe I'm wrong. I think like if you want to activate a base of voters that are non-voters that maybe were too young to vote or too young to care during your horrific presidential run, this is the best way to do it. This is what I said with the Aiden Ross stuff too, right? Like he's very clearly going after, like his team understands that there are a group of voters out there, young men specifically, that have shown in polling results that they are more interested in Republican politics in general, that don't really look at traditional media all that much, and might have been too young to have made up their minds about Donald Trump under the Trump administration, under the Trump presidency. Even if they're like Joe Rogan watchers in general, because like Theo Von probably has a similar audience. Theo Von has a similar audience to Joe Rogan, so I assume it's like a lot of like older men, older than you would think, but men that aren't necessarily tapped in to mainstream interest, mainstream media in general. And the interesting part of that equation is that they don't show up in polls either, especially if they're like non-voters originally.
Terrific guy. Both terrific guys. Very different.
Finally made it happen. They finally made it happen.
So you had two undefeated heavyweight champions fighting.
And who took you to the fight? You remember?
I went with my father and my brother Robert. And it was just, I don't know, I must have been very young. It was a long time ago, but you would never forget it. That was one of those moments.
Oh, yeah.
But no, literally, there were like many heart attacks in the arena.
Just people having too much fun, or what
No,
do you
they were
think it was
just
drugs?
having heart attacks because it was such a crazy event.
Oh, yeah.
It was so, the people were just, I know a friend of mine, the father, he had a bad heart attack. Literally, they took him out. They were taking people out.
What is going
early
on,
KO.
bro?
And I don't hear that anymore. I mean, there were other
What is he talking about? Like, why do we care? Come on, move on.
Like, you think it was that?
But-
It's like,
But we had an exciting event the other night with Elon Musk
yeah.
and me.
I listened.
We had a pretty big audience for that one, I can tell you.
Yeah, I listened for probably about like 20 minutes. I thought it was cool. It was. I think the tough part was just like just like it would have been neat if you guys could have been in the same spot, you know. But I still thought it was exceptional.
I heard the audio was great, and actually they put out a clear tape of it because they had clear tape.
Oh, nice.
They
Oh, the audio was great. He's talking about the list.
had so many millions and millions of people watching, like record numbers of people. And I'm trying to figure out, we're on a cell phone, or I was, and, you know, that's a lot of people coming into a cell phone one way.
Yeah.
But I heard some people had a problem with the audio. I don't know. I don't do that thing. You know, that was done. And we had a great conversation. It was for 2 hours and 15 minutes. They just put out a clear tape of it, a perfect tape of it. But
I'll have to go back and
I
listen to
sounded, I think I sounded, somebody said your voice was distorted or something. And you know, I guess
It's so funny. He hates the way he's perceived, and it's obvious. He hates the way he's perceived. It's obvious that he heard the lisp shit and it pisses him off, but he doesn't want to draw too much attention to the lisp. So he's just trying to say it without saying it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I heard the audio, there was some issues or something.
that happens. Look, it was such a big thing, such a big audience. But I would have loved to have seen the clear tape originally. They put it out right after the show, so now it's a clear tape where a perfect tape done there.
Yeah.
But when it goes through different phone systems and everything else, you think if we were together, that doesn't happen then? Because I think his voice was more clear than
Yeah, maybe
mine.
because he was the one who was like initiating the call. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about how all that works. But yeah, I know that in post, a lot of times they can tighten things up and make it better. You know, yeah, it's amazing how Elon, like, the cost to really have your own voice in the world is $44 billion, basically.
Well,
If you
Right.
want to have your voice, like, you know what I'm saying? He has his own channel.
and he does what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastic guy. And he's a brilliant person. And the country should be very proud of him, actually. I have Truth, which has been very successful.
True Social, you mean?
True Social, yeah. And that's been very successful in getting my voice out. Well, I needed a voice because, you know, I was on Twitter and I was on Instagram. I was on all of it. And I was on Facebook. And when you added it up, I was told by Zuckerberg and others, it was like record-setting type of numbers. And then one day I didn't have anything because they canceled. I mean, they canceled.
There's such a collusion there, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty bad thing. And so I had nothing. So after about a month, you know, I have a lot of things to say. And after about a month, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just go out and put out an old public relations statement. You remember that? And although you're a little young to see it, but in the old days, you'd put out a statement. And I did, and it was just gobbled up. It was really gobbled up. And I opened Truth, and Truth has become terrific, actually, for
Good
me.
platform.
I really want just as a platform. I mean, it's more important than anything else. And
Well, at least
and
you have
that's
your
been-
voice then. You could say
Well,
what
it
you
gave
want to
me
say.
my voice back, yeah. I had hundreds of millions of people. Even now, I haven't been too active on X, but I have, I guess, 90 some odd million people on it. But I was much higher than that when I was
It's like
actually
almost all
on
the
it.
people. I don't even know how many people there are.
Yeah, it's been, but I love the job he's done, and he's brought a certain voice back into play.
Yeah.
The previous people were terrible.
Yeah.
Every time you do a thing, you'd be red flagged. They'd put
Oh,
up
yeah,
a red
there's
flag.
every-
Every
yeah.
statement you made, you'd be red flagged.
Yeah, it's almost like, it's like when you have a babysitter and they don't want to have any fun or whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of the vibe I got. When you, because I see you at the fights. I see you, sometimes you'll sit right by Dana, and sometimes I'll sit, like me, I'll go with like David Spade sometimes as a close
that's
friend of
good.
mine.
Good.
And, I'll see you coming with Kid Rock and, and you don't drink at the fights. You
By the
don't,
way, Kid Rock is he's terrific. He came to the convention. He knocked everybody out. He was He's a great guy. He's just a great guy. He's popular, very popular.
Oh, he's definitely a real dirt
my guests are
serpent
here.
too, dude. He's a freaking legend, you know.
He's
a legend.
He is a legend,
Yeah.
I guess, in a true sense.
Oh, 100%. People love him, dude. Look at him. I went to his show not long ago somewhere, and people, I think some guy had a heart attack there too, but it was more funnel cake related, I think, type of vibes.
He draws big crowds, actually. It's amazing. I saw one. He was at someplace recently at 80,000 people. He's big stuff, but he's really, forget about that. I call him Bob, his name Bob, right? It's Bob, Kid Rock, but it's Bob. But he's a really good guy. And
I've been over to his house
he's a cool cat, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I live in Nashville. Right when I got into town, he hit me up one night and was like, hey, man, I'm having a birthday party this week and you should come. And I didn't even know him, and it was nice of him. And since then, we've done a lot of fun stuff together. His brother's missing a leg, too, which is crazy. He looks like the lamp. Have you ever seen that movie, The Lamp, like from like a Christmas Story or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic. The family, the father, I knew very well. He just passed away. And it was tough.
You knew his dad?
For the brother. I did. And he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to know him through knowing Bob. And I tell you what, it's just a fantastic family, the whole family.
Yeah. No, I love Bob. He and I joke around together a lot. We've spent a lot of time together. Look at his brother right there.
That's right.
Dude hits
And you know what? He
dingers,
plays
too.
golf and he plays well.